understands that this apple must have come from there. He goes and knocks on the door. So a man opens the door and he says, yes, can I help you? And he says, look, I have a situation, I need you to understand. So he explains to him that I'm hungry and I haven't eaten, and there was an apple and I ate from it, and then I realized that truly this apple also must belong to somebody. So I followed the river until I came to the tree, and he explaining to him that, I need you to forgive me, I've done this and I ate from the apple. Now the man who opened the door, he found this extremely bizarre. Subhanallah, like look at the thoughts, the sentiments of this young man, that in such times where I have a tree, yet the apple fell from it and it made its way into this river, into this stream, and it's washed down hundreds and hundreds of meters. It's gone out of my compound, it's gone out. Yet this person has so much taqwa, so much fear. He's worried about when he meets Allah, that how will he defend himself. Therefore he's scratching his head. He goes and he mentions the story to his wife inside. And they have a conversation. And they put some mashwara, they put some opinions between each other. And the man comes back to him. And he says, young boy, I have a solution for you, and I have a means of your forgiveness. This is for what? This is for admitting that he ate an apple. He says that for us, in order for us to forgive you, you have to marry our daughter. He says, but there's a catch. Our daughter, she is blind. She cannot see. Our daughter, she is also deaf, she can't hear. And unfortunately, she also cannot speak. 3 things they mentioned to him. Now this young boy is thinking that I came to ask for forgiveness, and look at what the situation has got into. Obviously, eventually, in the first instance, the marriage, no problem. But when you have a product that is sort of defected, when we want to do our qurbani, we have the animal. If it's got defects, that animal will not be accepted. Now here is a scenario. Either you sort your dunya out and your hereafter is fine, but it comes with a catch. Or he rejects this and he loses out on his forgiveness. So this young man thinks that I've come all this way and I've asked and I've put my case in front of them, and this surely Allah will put away from me. And he says, no problem, I want your forgiveness, I'm happy to marry this girl. What was it? She was blind, she couldn't hear, and she also couldn't speak. As time passed, mashallah, the nikah, everything was consummated, finished. So he comes into the room, and behold, there's a beautiful bride sitting there. As he enters, she turns and looks at him. So now he's thinking that she can see me. She possibly says salam. He realizes that she can talk. He gives the reply. She hears him. Everything is fine. Now he's wondering, why would that old man, or why would he lie to me? So before he could say anything, or before he could ask any questions, the girl herself started to speak. What did she say? She said, when my father told you that the girl was blind, he was referring to that I have never put or laid my eyes on anything haram, impermissible, or anything which displeases Allah. That is what my father meant. And again, that I am deaf, I don't hear, he meant that I have never heard, or my ears have never heard anything in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is displeased with. And likewise with my tongue, I have never uttered or tasted anything which was against the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now this man, mashallah, beautiful wife, everything is fine. From this nikah, from this marriage, they had a child. And this child was none other than Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah. The reason I want to point this out is that maybe there's been announcements, but alhamdulillah, I'm from New Zealand, and I had the opportunity Allah granted me, I started my studies in India, and then I got sick. But I came to Darul Uloom Bury in the 1990s, 97 I started. We finished in 2002 by the barakat and the mercy and kindness of Hazrat Yusuf Rahmatullah alayh. In New Zealand, mashallah, we've had some good press, we've had some bad press. Many of you will know. For us, 15th March is a very dark day. It's a date that it haunts us. We had the mass shootings, and people remember that. The coverage was very widespread. From that 51 that passed, I knew 46 of them, just to put into perspective. It was very, very traumatic. And we had just been 2 weeks before. Our Shaykh there, Mu'al Latif, he's a very good, very close friend of mine. And we had visited many times previously to this. But alhamdulillah, because of that sacrifices and because of the steadfastness of the ummah there, mashallah, we have many masajid. We have 2 Darul Ulooms there. They're not big and they don't have big numbers, but alhamdulillah, they're established and they run on the very same and similar principles and terms, just as the Darulooms and the madrasas are run here with boarding and with hostel and everything, alhamdulillah. We have a very well established Muslim school. And this is the point and what I want to raise with you today. Our Muslim school was established in 92, just like in this area or maybe in Leeds 30, 40, 50 years ago. We all came for a better life. In New Zealand it was the same thing. People who migrated from the Fiji Islands or they came through the Pacific, they came to New Zealand and Australia, that was for the same thing. They wanted a better life. But they realized after, when they had their children and their children started to grow up and they didn't have any principles, they didn't have any teachings of deen in them, then they started to ring alarm bells. And when the alarm bells rang, then they started to realize that we don't have hafiz, we don't have ulama, we don't have scholars, we have nobody to guide us. And then they started, or they called in, or imported, as they say, a scholar. And then the scholar started, and from there the madrasa and maktab. So this is the 70s for us. Shaykh Hassan Ali, Damat Barakatum, when he visited us a few years ago, he mentioned that, you know, New Zealand looks to me like the UK was in the 80s. So just to give some perspective, you know, the state of our deen and how our masajid are going, you know, we're kind of in the 80s compared to the UK today. And from there, a few families got together, they sacrificed their children, made them the guinea pigs, and they established homeschooling with the idea that we'll have Islamic principles and teachings. 95, the Muslim school was built, and alhamdulillah, from strength to strength. Today we have 590 students on a register which the ministry is not allowing to go further ahead. And one of the main reasons why I'm here is that we have 1,500 students on our waiting list. You and I understand the value of this. In today's environment, the challenges I don't need to mention here. The attacks on the aqidah, on the belief, and this is from a Western or from a global point, or how the iman is tackled and challenged, and all the different distractions that they have. It's very difficult for them to hold on to deen. In New Zealand, mashallah, from our school we've had 29 Huffaz come out. For one Hafiz to be around in the 80s and even the late 90s. When we graduated in 2002, there was half of the masjids never had full Quran. Mashallah, now our Hafiz struggle to get a place inside the masjids just because the influx. So if this effort wasn't made, then we would have nothing. And we all know that. Simple, small things. Rasulullah ﷺ mentioned in a hadith, this you would have heard it many times. Man bana lillahi masjidan or baytan, bana Allahu lahu baytan fil jannah. That whoever establishes or helps or aids in establishing a house or masjid for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will build for him a palace in Jannah. Some of the commentators beautifully say about this is that when Allah will build a house for you or a palace in Jannah, this is a what? This is a guarantee that you'll go Jannah, inshaAllah. Therefore, this project that I'm here for, alhamdulillah, each and every person that donates, on the Day of Judgment, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned a hadith, and it's very, it appeals to all of us. He asked the Prophet, the Prophet asked the Sahaba, and he said that who is the loser? The words he used was atadruna man muflis. Who is the loser? Who is the poor person? And the Sahaba, according to their own understanding, some of them mentioned that, maybe it's somebody who doesn't have funds, maybe it's somebody who doesn't save, maybe it's somebody who doesn't prepare for the next, for the future. They gave different answers. Rasulullah said, on the Day of Judgment, a poor person, a muflis. Now the Prophet he points out that they will come with their salah, they will come with their zakat, they will come with their fasting, they'll have all their a'mal, all their deeds they'll come with. Yet, the Prophet ﷺ mentions that because they would have sworn at somebody, because they would have abused somebody verbally, they would have done the ghiba, the backbiting of somebody, or they would have hurt somebody physically. Prophet ﷺ named a list of things. Then he said that the person's rewards will start to be shifted off and given to him in place of the crime or what he committed. And then the Prophet ﷺ said it will get to a point where his rewards will all be finished, and then he'll only have his sins, and then the person's sins will be loaded onto him, and then he will have to endure the person's sins. So to remove this and to get out of this, one of the commentaries mentioned about doing sadaqah jariyah and having plenty of it and striving for it, because truly that is the thing that will outlast. 3 things will go to your grave. 2 will return and only 1 will stay. Your a'mal and your deeds will stay with you. And the rest, your family and your wealth, they'll come back. Your family will throw some tears, and your wealth will be distributed even before the soil has become dry and moist. So in projects like this, they talk, buy a Quran, put in the masjid, whenever anybody reads from it, you will get the reward. If you can, build a well. If you can, sponsor an orphan. Rasulullah ﷺ gave many virtues of sponsoring an orphan. He mentioned in one place, whoever looks after, cares for, brings up and nurtures an orphan, and he pointed with the 2 fingers. And he said, myself and him will be in Jannah together. If you can, build a masjid. If you can, support a madrasa, a darul ulum, an institute where the deen of Allah is going. If you can, support the ulama. All of these things count as sadaqah jariyah, and also this, or the funds that are given, this will also be a sadaqah jariyah. And that of also, you will forget about this. Many years later, you'll say that, yes, I donated to an establishment in New Zealand. How is that going? Then go on and you'll hear that, mashallah, from that establishment, just last 5 years, they've had 14 hafiz, and they've had so many students go on to study ilm and become alims and scholars. This will be the reality. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us barakah in our wealth and in our health. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to fulfill the rights of the masjid and this beautiful center that has been established. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve and give barakah to the imams and the ulama and the scholars of this place. And most importantly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep this establishment safe from all harms and evils, and the musallis and the people who come and they preserve this place also safe from all harms and evils. Jazakumullah khair. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la